when I was starting this series, someone commented on one of the early videos that they didn't really like the term privilege because it had such a negative connotation. And part of what we talked about in a little comments exchange is that that's the problem. Privilege shouldn't have a negative connotation, but it does because we're in a world where people with privilege either don't realize it at all or refuse to realize it when it's pointed out to them. There's nothing wrong with privilege. Ideally, privilege is a call to generosity and humility and empathy because we understand that we have something not everyone else has, and that motivates our actions, not to our own good, but to the good of the entire community. So, if you're like me and you have leather privilege, remember the fact that you're watching this means that you have at least a little bit. What do you do with it? Actually, as a community, we have an extremely long history of putting it to good use. I'm specifically talking about the tradition of gifting gear. This is when a leather person gives someone new or someone starting out a piece of their own gear that doesn't fit them anymore or that they don't wear anymore. And this is such an old tradition that I don't know, I'm not going to say it goes back to the old guard, but it's probably older than a lot of the things we like to call old guard. Gifting leather is generational wealth transfer. It is how we provide starting members of the community leather gear and therefore an initial stake of leather privilege. We have other built-in mechanisms that help spread the leather privilege around, including a pretty long history of mentorship, either formally through daddy boy, sir boy, whatever, or even just informally through encounters we have. Mentorship structures give people access to leather people because you're meeting your mentor's friends, mostly because they're probably showing you off, and to leather spaces because they are taking you to the bar or other leather spaces, and probably to leather experiences as well. So the good news is that for those of us who have leather privilege, as a community, we're pretty good at spreading it around. Not perfect, though. And so I want to invite all of you to sort of do a little bit of reflection about the amount of leather privilege you have and the ways in which it acts as your own call to humility, generosity, and empathy. How you're able to help others, even if they're just a step or two behind you. How do you help others move forward in the community? Even if you're just starting out, there's someone who's about to start out, right? So we can all help someone else. We can help them because we have privilege. As part of this, let me also say, I've admitted, I have all the leather privilege. I have so much leather privilege. And if I were to give it all up, if I were to wave a magic wand, and all my leather privilege disappeared, do you know what would happen? Someone who looks exactly like me would step into that little missing space in the leather structure or community power structure, right? Because systems of privilege those who look like those with privilege. So for me, it's not about giving up my leather privilege, but about using it to provide others more access to leather people, leather spaces, leather gear, and leather experiences. And in fact, that's part of why I'm doing this right here, right now.